everyone, and welcome to Conversations Mumbai, where we have discussions on various topics with people from different walks of life. Conversations Mumbai is a platform where we seek to learn and grow from each other's journeys with an aim to make a difference in the society. My name is Glevina Matthias, and today in conversation with us, we have a very young achiever, an admirable personality, and a human with a zest for life. He dreamt at age 15 that he wants to climb the tallest summit in the world, Mount Everest, and within a decade, he accomplished his dream at age 24, bagging the title of youngest person to climb Mount Everest from our Amchi, Mumbai. Folks and friends, please join me in welcoming our guest for this session, an inspiration to many who has literally seen the top of the world, Mr. Parth Upadhyay.
Hello and namaste. Thank you so much for that wonderful introduction, and it's so good to be here.
Let me ask you the first question. How did it feel when you reached the top of the world?
You know, ये क्वेश्चन बहुत इजी है पूछना, बट इट इज़ प्रैक्टिकली इम्पॉसिबल टू आंसर यूजिंग वर्ड्स. Because the whole experience of being on the very top of the world, I'll try my best to explain to you how does it feel like to be on the top. For me, this journey started when I was 15 साल का था मैं, एंड मैंने महाराष्ट्र में एक छोटे से पहाड़ी से सनराइज़ देखा. एंड वहाँ सनराइज़ देखते हुए मेरे माइंड में क्वेश्चन आया था कि इफ़ द सनराइज़ फ्रॉम दिस स्मॉल हिल इज़ सो ब्यूटिफुल, how would the sunrise look from the highest peak in the world? And it took me 9 years, but finally on 23rd May 2019 at 5 in the morning, just when I reached the top, there was nobody up there. I had the whole top of the world to myself, and जब भी मैं ऊपर पहुंचा, just I saw that sunrise, and it was a very very powerful feeling, because I just sat down and smiled, thinking कि as a 15-year-old who knew nothing about trekking or climbing or anything about this, that stupid 15-year-old saw a dream. And it took me 9 years, but on 23rd May I made it happen. I was seeing that sunrise and I realized the power of a dream that morning.
Climbing Mount Everest is no small feat. I'm sure you must have faced a lot of obstacles, a lot of things that must have come your way. Could you take us through your journey of preparation in order to reach the tallest mountain?
Well, the first thing I did was the mountaineering courses, because so let's use an analogy here. Climbing Everest is like writing a book. That's the ultimate thing you can do with words. So to write books, you need to learn ABCD. So ABCD आपको सिखाया जाता है in mountaineering courses में. And then after these mountaineering courses, I went for proper expeditions in the Indian Himalayas, in the state of Ladakh, in Himachal, in Uttarakhand, to learn how to form words out of those ABCDs that I had learned, and then form sentences out of those words. So when you actually climb real mountains, you learn to apply the skills that you've learned in the courses. It is very important to do that. And I think after 2-3 years of non-stop climbing, I've climbed many 6,000-meter mountains, 7,000-meter high mountains. Now it was my time. After I got back home from a certain expedition, I thought to myself, okay, experience-wise, now I'm ready enough. Now I need to work on my physical fitness for Everest. To reach to the top of the world, you need to build a top of the world mind and a top of the world body. So this was like ingrained in my mind. The best training for climbing mountains is to actually be in the mountains. इसी को ध्यान में रखते हुए I shifted my house to the hills of Sayadris. So for the next 2 years, I isolated myself from the world completely, focusing each and every second of my life in building myself up physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually up to a level where I'm ready for Everest. I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning and spend the morning just sitting in silence and observing my mind, trying to understand my mind, because like, the real Everest is within us. Only and only if you climb that Everest which is within you, only then any Everest on the outside is within your reach.
And at around 5:30 or 6 in the morning, I used to leave my house for a very, very long hike. I used to hike for around 3 to 4 hours and with a backpack of 25-30 kg on my back. So this morning used to be spent working on my stamina. So जहाँ पे मैं रहता था वहाँ पे एक छोटा सा क्या बोलते हैं जिम जैसा था where I used to go in the evening to work on my strength part. So सुबह 3.5-4 घंटा and शाम को 2-3 घंटा. So आप कह सकते हो daily around 7 to 8 hours I used to spend just working on myself physically.
What has been your greatest inspiration in order to climb Mount Everest?
Well, as I said, that sunrise that I saw from the small hill in Kalsubai, it just caught my imagination and I was like, अगर यहाँ से इतना खूबसूरत है तो इस वर्ल्ड के हाईएस्ट पीक सनराइज कैसा होगा? And just stuck in my head, you know, just stuck in my head. And of course, there were challenges like first of all convincing your parents, then convincing people around you, convincing yourself first. That is the biggest challenge because I think if you can convince yourself, then किसी को भी convince करना possible है. But yes, I remember in my childhood I was not good in studies, I was not good in sports, I was not good in any activities. I was just a lost kid floundering around in the world until I went for this trek. And for the first time in my life in 15 years, when I went for that first trek, I felt like I've come home. I felt like homecoming feeling. And after that, I knew I wanted to experience this feeling more and more. And that's why I started going into the hills again and again, because I was very comfortable within myself.
But being in an Indian family, I'm sure you've had your challenges in convincing your parents to let you do this. We want to know from you, how did you convince them to let you follow your passion?
बचपन से बहुत ही बोलता था मैं, मुझे एस्ट्रोनॉट बनना था ये बोला था मैंने, मुझे पॉप स्टार बनना था ये बोला था, मुझे बहुत कुछ बनना था, मुझे पायलट बनना था, मुझे इंजीनियर बनना था. सब ने उन्होंने सपोर्ट किया और कुछ भी नहीं कर पाया उसमें से. सो नाउ फॉर दिस आई न्यू लेस वर्ड्स मोर एक्शन, लेस वर्ड्स एंड मोर एक्शन. बिकॉज अभी मैं कुछ भी उनको बोलता, दे वुड नॉट बिलीव मी. मैंने उनको एक बार पहले बोला कि मुझे 2019 में एवरेस्ट क्लाइंब करना है एंड दे वर लाइक या देख लेंगे. दे डिडंट टेक मी सीरियसली. ऑब्वियसली आई डोंट ब्लेम देम. सो आई वाज लाइक ओके, actions, time for a new strategy here. So I started waking up every day early. I changed my lifestyle. मैंने खाना पीना अपना ठीक कर दिया. And they saw that for the first time in my life I have become focused. बिना उनके कहे 4 बजे उठना, खाना पीना ठीक करना जो मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ी चीज़ थी उस टाइम में, दोस्तों से मिलना छोड़ दिया, कुछ भी ऐसा करना छोड़ दिया जो मुझे एवरेस्ट पे ना ले जाए. And 6 महीने बाद, literally 6 months after me changing this routine every day, day after day, my dad asked me, "Are you serious about this?" मैंने उनको पूछा, "What do you see? Do I look serious about this?" बोले yes. उन्होंने बोला तू करने ही वाला है तो let us be a part of your team. Let us see what we can do together. So that's how I convinced them. Less words, more action.
How did you raise funds in order to complete this expedition of yours?
It costs around 25 to 30 lakh rupees to climb Mount Everest. It's that expensive. So what is the cost breakdown like? Around 11 lakh rupees you have to pay the government there as a peak permit fee. It's like to just get a permit, it costs 11 lakh rupees. And इसके बाद around 5 to 7 lakh rupees goes into purchasing your equipments. So the equipments that we use up there are very, very expensive because they, save you from extreme conditions like minus 60 degrees. Then इसके बाद around 5-6 lakh rupees you pay the Sherpa climbing guide who is with you. इसके अलावा फ्लाइट्स हो गए, देन इंश्योरेंस का हो गया अराउंड 1 लाख रुपया, रेस्क्यू एंड हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस, एंड बाकी छोटे मोटे खर्चे यहाँ पे करके अराउंड 25-30 लाख रुपीस तक हो जाता है वो. सो दैट इज व्हाई इट कॉस्ट्स so much. I always say that raising the funds for Everest was a much bigger Everest for me personally because पहाड़ कैसे क्लाइंब करना ये तो मुझे आता है, ये तो मुझे पता था, लेकिन फंड रेज कैसा करना है no idea at all. So I made a lot of mistakes and unfortunately, I wouldn't say unfortunately, mountaineering is in a very, very infant state in our country right now. Not a lot of people know about this. Because of the lack of awareness, there are not a lot of people who first understand it and then who want to support it. So I remember going and speaking to around 150 corporates in a span of 2 years. I spoke to state government, वहाँ से भी कुछ नहीं आया. I spoke to central government, वहाँ से भी कुछ नहीं आया. Then I was completely lost. I was like, these were three hopes: corporate world and the government. Now what do I do? So one of my friends said, why don't you try crowdfunding? Now at that point, I didn't even know what crowdfunding was, but I got to know it is basically asking for contributions from people, and that's where a bigger issue was for me. I had never asked for even 5 rupees from anybody. That's how I was raised in my family, and so I sat myself down and I told myself, Parth, your goals are much bigger than your stupid ego. Keep your ego aside. What do you have to lose? Beggars can't be choosers. If you want to do it, this is the last option, go for it. And when I actually started crowdfunding, people contributed. And these were the people who had seen my journey, who had seen my passion, my obsession, my hard work towards Everest. And somebody gave me 500 rupees, somebody gave me 5 lakh rupees according to their capacity. Through crowdfunding, I was able to raise around 50% of the amount. Through my savings and my dad's saving, we were able to add another 30% of the amount. And बाकी का ऊपर जो भी था, around, I think it was around 6-7 lakh rupees, we took a loan from our friends and family, which I am still repaying now. But that's how the funds fell into place. And it's, मैंने आपको explain कर दिया 5 minute में, but the whole journey of fundraising was a much more difficult journey than actually climbing Mount Everest.
How many days did it take in order to climb up and climb down during this Mount Everest expedition?
So it takes around 45 days to get to the top of Mount Everest and back. It's a big mountain, and we were a team of 8 people. We had people from Ukraine, we had people from Russia, we had people from US, we had people from France, and of course the Nepalese Sherpas with us. So that was the basic setup of the expedition.
What was the most difficult part? Climbing upwards or climbing downwards to the base camp?
Well, definitely climbing down was more difficult, and just to put things in a perspective why it is so, because all the focus, all the energy goes, you have to reach the top. You are like driven to reach the top, and once you reach the top, you don't realize that you are just halfway there. Literally 50% मार्क पे पहुंचे हो अभी आप. उतना ही एनर्जी, उतना ही फोकस अभी आपको नीचे पहुंचने में लगाना है. बिकॉज अगर आप नीचे पहुंचते पहुंचते अगर आप नीचे नहीं पहुंच पाए, टू पुट इट वेरी ब्लंटली, it's a failed expedition. No, like, it doesn't matter. So for most people, unfortunately, they lose their focus when they reach the top and they make some mistake while coming down. दूसरा, from the last camp onwards, we go towards the summit throughout the night. I mean, we climb throughout the night. You cannot eat, you cannot sleep, you cannot drink water. You are just completely exhausted and broken. So when you reach the top, by then you are completely bashed. So with that exhaustion in your body, in your mind, it is very easy to make even one little mistake. And even one little mistake can cost you your life up there. So these are a few reasons why coming down is more difficult, and 85% mountaineering deaths happens on the way down. So when I reached the top, obviously I was happy, but I was also very aware that I'm just halfway there. There is no reason for me to celebrate yet. Base camp पहुंच जा, वहाँ पे नाचो गाओ, celebrate जो करना है करो. अभी focus वही रखना है. And when I was on the summit, reaching the base camp became my Everest now. I have to reach base camp now. That became the whole focus point for me. To achieve success is the easier part, I would say, but to sustain that success is the more challenging part. To remain there, to remain focused, to remain driven, I think that is what makes, you a legend, I would say.
I'm sure this journey of climbing Mount Everest has been a memorable one, but along with good experiences, you must have had certain unpleasant experiences. Could you share those with us?
Well, unfortunately, I have some of those experiences on Everest, and while coming back down, I saw a person die in front of me. He just fell and was stuck on the rope, and his oxygen mask fell off from his face, and like within a span of 2-3 minutes he just left his body there. I was just there helpless, witnessing this, being able to do nothing, and I knew that person personally, and it just broke me completely. And I somehow composed myself again and started walking. Within a span of 30 minutes, something really, really strange started happening to me health wise. I, whenever I think of this, I get goosebumps here. I was not able to walk. My energy levels were completely close to zero. I just sat down, and if you cannot walk on your 2 feet while you are coming down from Everest or while you're going up, nobody is going to come rescue you. You will be simply left there to die. That's how it is up there. While I was sitting there, I somehow, somewhere, I did accept this outcome that I might die, and it was a very, very powerful moment for me. I just closed my eyes and prayed to the universe that if you are listening to me, just give me 30 seconds with my loved ones, with my family. Just 30 seconds. But I knew when opportunity is gone, it's gone. Once time is gone, it's gone. And I was crying, and I was just helpless up there, and then my Sherpa, he came up to me, and we realized that luckily nothing was wrong with me, just that my oxygen cylinder had run empty, so that's why I was feeling like that. And we changed the cylinder, and I was okay. So yeah, I owe my life to that Sherpa who was with me on Everest. And in the face of death, you truly realize what is important and who is important. Unfortunately for most people, they don't survive after that realization, but I did, and I don't take that for granted. It's a blessing. It's a bonus life. While I was going towards the summit from the last camp, I was moving a little bit faster than most people. So I told my climbing guide that let me move at my own pace. I will stop and wait for you at certain checkpoints, and then we will see where to how we are doing. So I was sitting here at the first checkpoint called step 1. It's on the way. It's a huge rock wall. उसके बाद मैं बैठा था ऊपर, waiting for my Sherpa to come. I could see his headlight. He was coming slowly. And then he came up to me, and he suddenly abused me in Nepali language. उसके गाली में, उसके भाषा में मुझे गाली दी उसने. मैं एकदम चौंक गया. सर ये क्या बोल दिया तूने मुझे? He was like, अंधा है क्या तू? कहाँ बैठा है? एंड उसने बोला पीछे मुड़ के देख. एंड जब भी आपको कोई ऐसे बोलता है पीछे मुड़ के देख, एक सेकंड के लिए दिल में कुछ तो होता है, धड़कन रुक सी जाती है एक सेकंड के लिए. एंड मैंने सोचा ऐसा क्या है पीछे. एंड मैंने पीछे मुड़ के देखा, एंड आई रियलाइज कि मैं एक इंसान के डेड बॉडी को सपोर्ट करके बैठा हूँ. एंड yes, so people die on Everest, okay? Around 500 people have died while climbing Everest so far. And the bodies of the people who die there cannot be brought down, because it is the greatest thing you can do if you yourself can walk. अगर आप खुद को नीचे लेके आओ वो काफ़ी है. दूसरों को नीचे लाने में you might risk your life. So all the bodies are up there, and I had always heard and read that you encounter these bodies on the way to the summit, but it is one thing to hear about it and it is one thing to experience it. And मैं वहाँ से उठा and मैं उस इंसान को देख रहा था, just watching him, just looking at him, and I could see myself in him. Not in the sense that oh I will die, ऐसे negative thoughts नहीं, but just that this guy also must be as strong as me, as experienced as me, as passionate as me. He also must have a family back home who were waiting for him, and he maybe made one little mistake, and see what happened. He was just gone. I mean, I was like, okay, not Parth, this is not the way you are going to die. I'm not afraid of dying, but this is not the way you are going to die. When you have people waiting for you back home, you have no right to put them through this. So I was like, not even one little mistake, Parth. Not even one little mistake. So that was the experience. And on the way, I saw around 16 dead bodies on the way. Where in the world, except a war zone, do you come across people dead lying down around you? It's just very.
What was the most important lesson that you learned during this journey of climbing Mount Everest?
In one word, much more clear, much more sorted from within. Because mountains have a way of showing you your space in this entire world. How small you are and yet how powerful you are.
What is your next goal now that you've climbed Mount Everest? What are you aiming for next?
Well, in terms of mountaineering, if I want to put it, the 14 highest peaks in the world. So one is done, the highest one is done. My next goal is to a peak called Annapurna 1. It's in Nepal. World का 10वां सबसे highest peak है. And though it is just 800 meters shorter than Everest, it is 100 times much more difficult than Everest. Annapurna is the most difficult, is the most dangerous mountain in the world to climb. And just to put things in a little bit of perspective, Everest has been climbed by around 9,000 people in the world so far. Annapurna less than 200 people. And there is no Indian civilian who has successfully climbed Annapurna yet. And if all goes well, I'll also be the youngest person in the world to ever climb Annapurna. So that would be a very, very big thing for India, the Indian mountaineering community. And let's hope I am able to take the Indian flag to the top of Annapurna with all your blessings.
What are the things that you carry along with you while climbing Everest and down?
First of all, अगर कपड़ों की बात करें, clothing की बात करें, you wear a one-piece suit from your head to your toes, which is called as down suit. It is a very, very warm piece of clothing which protects you from extreme temperature conditions. उसके अलावा you wear your sunglasses, you have the ice axes, you have your helmet. Apart from that, you have your sleeping bag which you sleep in, your mat, your oxygen cylinder, your stove जिस पे आप खाना बनाते हो, then your ready to eat food that you carry, your gloves. The equipments in our field are very, very light by nature, but again when you put it together, the backpack was around 25 to 30 kg के आसपास. It was a relentless task to carry a backpack on your back at that altitude when oxygen levels in the atmosphere are so low that with each step you are like, I remember not being able to walk for more than 3 to 5 steps at a time. After 3 to 5 steps, I used to stop and I was out of breath in just 5 steps. And the conditions up there are so harsh, but it is all about putting one step in front of the other.
If not for mountaineering, what would be Parth doing?
Oh, that's a very... I would be an engineer. यार मैंने engineering किया हुआ है, so I would probably be doing some job in that field. So मैंने aircraft maintenance engineering किया है, so I would be working with some airline at some airport.
How do you see mountaineering as a career? Could you pursue mountaineering as a career? If you could throw some light on this, I'm sure our viewers who are aspiring to be mountaineers could take some help.
Oh yes, absolutely. अगर आपको seriously पहाड़ चढ़ना है, तो leave everything and just stop all the confusion and just go for the basic mountaineering course. Just sign up for the course. Once you do the course, you yourself will realize what is the path ahead. And apart from that, surround yourself with information that has everything to do with climbing mountains. You can read books, you can watch videos, you can see documentaries, you can talk to people, you can connect with me if you want to. So just surround yourself with all the information. Because you need to know what this field is, who are the people in this field, who are the players in this field. And as your first step, just go do the basic mountaineering course. That's it. आगे सोचो ही मत कुछ. There are a few things that you can do, which I'm also doing. So one of the major things that people do in this field is they organize treks, they lead treks and various adventure activities and expeditions and stuff like this. So if you do it right, you can make millions out of it. I know people who have made millions out of it. So, but that's like a proper business that you can do. But it is close to being in the outdoors. But apart from that, you can be an adventure photographer, you can be an adventure blogger. All these things pay, but it is not easy to make it. You have to not do hard work but smart work. You need to see how you can market yourself, because when you want to climb mountains and when you want to earn out of it, you are the brand, you are the product that you need to sell. So you need to be in a certain way that you can speak to people, you can market yourself well. And I think ये अगर skill होगी आप में तो पहाड़ चढ़ते चढ़ते पैसे कमा सकते हो आप. And there are, I always say this, that this field is a very very new field, so you can explore your options. I mean, you can create your own path which people would follow, because the possibilities are endless. And it's a very exciting times to be in.
What message do you have for all teenagers like you a decade ago?
Oh,
Like the way you were a decade ago, I'm sure there are many right now at your age. Okay. What message would you like to give them?
अगर एक ही लाइन में कहना है तो everybody has something that they are good at, something that comes naturally to them. I wouldn't say made for it, but which comes naturally to them. So whenever it does, be open to it and don't give excuses like, okay, those are not excuses like responsibility and everything. Even I have responsibilities, but if you really want to do it, there are always ways to manage it. So don't give excuses, find ways to make it happen. Okay? Because only if you find ways to make it happen, only then you can do what 99 others cannot do who make excuses.
Thank you so much everybody for watching this session with Parth Upadhyay. If you like this session, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to leave a comment down below and share with your friends so that they are inspired and we can create awareness about mountaineering. For more such videos, hit the subscribe button and we shall see you in the next video.